welcome back to the next video in the series for the CentOS 7 feature install, and today's video is hopefully going to tie off our web server and FTP server functions. And to those students that joined me this morning through all of our technical faults, I had to reboot a host machine and reset the interface in the guest machine, and I can now ping outside without a problem. So let us get into today's content. So we'll continue on from the initial config, and so we've set up our usernames and passwords, and at the moment I have it set to automatically receive a IP address from the DHCP server on the VMware. Okay, so I have connection to the internet on this VM at the moment, which is what we need to install the various elements. So to install, we go yum-y install HTTPD, and this will be activity 11. So it'll go off, find the various elements out on the internet to download and install, and that was as complicated as installing the features has to be. Now, next step, because we don't want to see the welcoming page for the server, we want to remove the file from etc. What's the directory path? HTTP. I'm looking at my notes here so I can hopefully get it correct. And welcome conf. Alright, now we've got to add our server names in to the web server, and the content for the information. So we need to enter the editor, which is VI, and what do we want to edit? It's the HTTP config file located. Okay, so the file we want to edit is in the etc httpd conf directory, and the file's httpd.conf. Alright, now we're in the actual editor mode, and we want to change the admin's email. So we have to just start scrolling down. It says line 86. Okay. There we go, server admin. This is our email address, so the server admin, and we want to change this bit here to, it's not localhost, it is our little address. So our server at server class. Alright, escape to exit that. Okay, so we're now saying our web address is root at server class. And next we want to change the server name, which should be here. Okay, so insert on, and we type in server name, and we're going to go www, and our server is WebServe, isn't it? So web server class, and we're listening on port 80. Now we go down to line 151, allow override. There we go. There's our allow override, and we want to say it's all. And now we go down to line 164, directory index. I've obviously missed it. Okay. Alright, found the right section here, so we want that to be all. We're in the directory stage here, and then when we come down to directory index, we want to add index CGI and index PHP, so that it would add those in. Alright, so add follows to the end, so we scroll down to the end. Insert, and let's add the comments, and the comments is server's response at response header and server tokens production, and then keep alive is on, and then we have keep alive on, and now we want to write that back, and then quit the file. So we're now back in web server, and I'm hoping the new format you can see the text a bit easier on. What I've done in the recording mode is actually window the VM player and zoom it in a bit. Alright, so we've changed that HTTP document, excuse me, and now we've got to system control. We want to start the HTTPD and system control enable HTTP. Okay. Now we want to allow the web services to occur through the firewall. So we want to change the firewall rules. So command, we want to add service equals HTTP, and we want to make it permanent. And then we want to another command. We want it to reload the firewall rules so that our firewall addition for the HTTP service is activated on, and just for the purposes of doing this, we will generate our homepage. Now normally you just load this up via FTP, but we haven't created FTP yet, so let's just create a simple text file, which is going to be located in var www HTML, and it's going to be index.html. So we're going back into the editor, and we want to put our insert on. Okay, and cast your mind back to the HTML coding sessions. So we're going to open it up, going to make the body, and then we're going to put some division across. So we're going to make it style equals the width, which is going to be 100%, followed by font size 40 pixels, and font weight, it's going to be bold, and the text alignment is going to be center, and I'm going to scroll all the way back here because I didn't put the quote marks there. I just hit the appropriate key. Alright, back to the end. And what's our text going to be? This will be our welcome to the test page, and then we can close off all of our bracketing. And if you cast your minds back, that's the basis of our page. So we want to write that out, and then we want to quit VI. So in theory, that's our FTP web page. FTP, our web test page, being the index. And before I go changing and testing that, alright, so that's about 20 minutes of recording. Let's fire up and install our FTP server instance, because we've got to be connected to the internet as well to do that installation. So we'll type clear in there, and again it's the yum install, and the service is VS FTPD. Boom, boom, boom. And again, we're going to edit the config file. So etc fs ftpd / and again fs ftpd.conf. And Round about line 12, anonymous, we want to change that to no, because we want to know who's logging in. And then scroll down to 8283, and what we're looking for, ASCII upload and download. There we are here. So basically we want to remove the comment marks there. That'll actually activate it, remove it from being a comment to an actual line. And again, scroll down, we want char root, local and list, which are there. Remove them from comments. And list file there. 109, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, ls recurse equals yes. And then come down to 14, which is listen equals no. We want to change that to yes. We'll just notice something. Our anonymous right up the top. All these parameters are in capitals, which I didn't do. So let's scroll back down to our Chrome root, listen yes, listen IPv6, char root, so listen is yes, IPX needs to be commented out, because as you can see here, listen runs standalone mode in IPv4 and cannot be used in conjunction with the listen IPv6, so one or the other. Actually, we changed that to no. To disable that one. And then scroll down to the end. And we need to add a few lines down the bottom. So what we're going to add is comment. So we want to specify the root directory. So if we don't specify a home directory, the user's home directory comes the default home for FTP. So we want to create a local root, and this is going to be public HTML, and then we're going to put in use local time. So the command, strangely enough, is use underscore local time equals yes. And then lastly, we want to turn off and sure comp filter, which means it's a login thing. So we want, basically we're making this into a sandbox. Protected area. So comp. No, you got to be able to log in. Alright, so escape out of config mode, and we want to colon mark W for write, colon Q exclamation for quit. Now we want to edit the char root list. So we go vi etc vs ftp d char root underscore list, and so we want to go, this is adding users, so let's comment this up. Alright, insert. Okay, so this is add users. You allow to move over their home directory. So the users, we have FTP user. Yeah, that's the user account we set up. So again, escape, write the file, and then quit. Alright, so now we want to enable system control to start vs ftpd, and again system control enable vs ftpd. Okay, now we want the firewall command, and we want to add service FTP, and again we want the firewall rule to be a permanent. What did I miss? Firewall. The double dash in front of the A for add. There we go. Typos. I'm back to my normal form. Command. Double dash, reload. So we've just reloaded our firewall. And that pretty much is it. Because we don't need we could turn on the actual client. Yeah, but that I think we'd run it on download and install it on a server. Alright, so that's the basic config for web server and FTTP. And what are we going? 30 minutes. Let's log out and reset the fire up. I'll just pull this while I set up the other clients. And welcome back. So I've just fired up the Windows 10 client here, and it's part of the same network as the Cent is. So, and I just looked up the IP address, which is 192.168.61.132. So we'll fire up Explorer and type in 161.132. So this is our welcome page that we created on the web server. So we know that the web server is working. And yeah. So the other thing we could do, and probably should do, is if I download FileZilla, which is an FTP client. And you're not getting anything there on the screen. Let me just scroll up into here. And all right. So in theory, you should be seeing both, which are blanks now. That's displayed on both. That is blank. That's a bit disconcerting. Test is coming up. That's coming up right. That's right. Home's there. Can't actually see the web browser in Windows 10 in my video capture. Alright, so let's turn off that and change the screen so that you get to see it that way. Alright, looking back, you probably didn't see the confirmation of the web page. Some reason it was coming up blank. I just looked at me ODS, which is my video screen capture software, and noticed that the screen was black. So apologies for that. Alright, so download FileZilla to the client, and this is an FTP little and we want to save something here. Download, setup. So you can see it there. So we can run this. So this is just a FTP client. So we can just set this up on our host machine, and don't want any additional okay, so this is FileZilla, which is a very basic connection, and basically you type in your host name there. Now if we're connected to the DNS server and that, we could use it there, but we can just type in as we know it the address 61.132. The user is FTP, capital FTP user. Right, this is where, pretty sure that's the, and the port. Well, leave it blank, and I'll use the defaults. And connecting to there, connection established, waiting for the welcome message. Insecure service, it does not support FTP over TLS because we didn't turn it on. And there we are, we're connected to our server. Whoop, didn't like it. Logging incorrect because I've got my password wrong. Let me come back to my activities log, and yep, got the password wrong. Login incorrect. Let's confirm that I've got user add FTP user password. Password for FTP user. Enter the new password. Well, there you go. It doesn't like that. Alright, so new password. Alright. Alright, now that I had the correct password and user account set up, hit the reconnect button and we can see that it connected to the server, establishing it logged in, and then it says FTP user home directory is there, but we should also have access to all the other bits and pieces. Now we created a directory, didn't we? And public HTML. But so this is our, so in theory We come back into here and go to users, home, so you can see all the directory structures that are available to us. So we could just upload the files, copy files down. Alright, so we can go through and change things. So in theory, if we come back and go down to var, so we've got access, and we could upload things in now and we could then create the web pages to point to the files and do all that. Okay, so we don't need to do any of that, just prove that we've got access. So if you take a screenshot there, now what you can do is just exit. Alright, here's the test page, take a screenshot of that. You've downloaded FileZilla, so you can just come in here, fire up FileZilla, do you connect, and okay, connect in there, there's your user, and that's proof that the FTP server is running. Now, obviously this isn't the correct addressing, so what you'd have to do is come back into here and redo your IP addresses back to the appropriate network address for your network. Now at the moment, the way I've got this set up at the moment is I went into the network command interface and for ENS33, alright, and my IPv4 method was auto, and I deleted, so the command line, so I believe that was, yeah, what, okay, if you want to know what commands are available, if you put the --help, it'll tell you there. So because I had both a static and I wanted a dynamic, because I wanted to connect to the internet via the NATed interface. Alright, so what I did was came into the config and told it to delete my interface profile. Alright, and it connected up. Okay, so you can go in and sort that out. So this time around you'd have to go in and set up your IP addresses again to the 10 network so that it would link in to the Win server and the DNS and everything correctly as per all the activities we've done. But that's enough rambling. You can see that the Windows 10 can connect to both the web server and the FTP server on CentOS. So if we change the IP addresses back to the 10 network, we would connect to both and have DNS and everything running correctly as well. But I'll let you play with that and set that up on your own. And just remember with the assessment that you just take screenshots of the appropriate functions, like the display, like to prove you've got the interface configured correctly. If we clear that off, and if I just change my connections there, alright, and zoom this off a little, scan it up so hopefully you can see there, and type in IP address and the command show. So by taking a screen capture of that, you would prove what your config for your Ethernet interface is, and that would be the correct evidence to prove your connection is up and running. Alright, just to give you a hint. Alright, I'm going to end this one here, as that's basically our FTP and web server all done. Now the fun part for you is pulling it all together in that final assessment item for ICT NWK 401 is to pull up the Windows server settings that we went through, and then the CentOS settings for this, have it all set up together so they talk to each other, and testing Windows 10's installation there, talking to the server, and that would prove that you've got connectivity and that things are working properly. A couple of screenshots, Bob's your uncle, as they say. Alright, catch you in the next time.